All right, so today we're going to break down a pretty pointed argument from commentator Douglas Murray. It's all about immigration and law in the US, based on what he said on Sky News Australia. His entire case really boils down to one single idea he believes is being totally ignored. So let's get into it. And there it is. That one sentence is pretty much the anchor for his whole perspective. Murray argues that this distinction isn't just a small detail. It's the most important line in the entire debate, a line that he thinks is being blurred on purpose. So Murray kicks things off by talking about what he calls the blurring of this really crucial line. For him, this isn't just about words, right? It's about two completely different ways people come to America. And Murray lays out this contrast in really stark terms. On the one side, you've got the legal path, which he describes as this grueling process with tons of paperwork and expensive lawyers. On the other side, what he calls the illegal path, just walking across the southern border. The key here for him is that these are not the same thing, and pretending they're morally equal is a massive problem. And this is where he really gets into the political stakes. Murray's claim is that when you start treating the law like it doesn't matter in this debate, you don't just lose guys like him, you lose most of the country. This idea leads him straight to his next point about political strategy. So this feeling of being disconnected, he says, leads to what he calls a really disastrous political choice. Basically, a hill to die on. And when he says hill to die on, he's talking about something very specific. He defines it as the activist left choosing to defend not just illegal immigration in general. No, he means the choice to defend people who are in the country illegally and have gone on to commit other crimes. He goes on to call this a terrible strategic mistake. He points to things like activists literally standing in the way of ICE officers who are trying to detain people accused of serious crimes. He argues that this is a position that most people just can't get behind, and that this is exactly why someone like Donald Trump gets votes. All right, so from political strategy, Murray then shifts gears. He zooms in on a group he thinks is making all this worse: celebrities. He puts Hollywood right in the crosshairs for how it's shaping this conversation. He really hones in on this one phrase, this mantra he connects with singer Billie Eilish and, the broader modern left. He holds this up as the perfect example of the celebrity viewpoint, which he is about to take apart. And Murray's response? It's immediate. It's blunt. He basically says this idea is completely and totally divorced from reality. So the question is, why? Why does he think they take this position? Murray suggests it all comes down to how they see themselves. He argues they're not just being political, they're putting on a performance where they are the heroes. And this leads him to his final and probably his most provocative analogy. Okay, so this whole idea of celebrities acting out a heroic performance, it all culminates in this really powerful historical comparison he makes. Yeah, he argues that in their minds, these celebrities are basically acting out a movie, and they've cast themselves in the starring role of a historical hero, specifically Oskar Schindler, the man who saved over 1,000 Jews during the Holocaust. So here's how Murray breaks down that analogy. In this little mental drama, you've got the Hollywood celebrity as the hero. Then, the persecuted victim, as he frames it, is a foreign national who's also committed a crime. And the bad guys, the oppressors in this story, they're the federal agents from ICE. You can see it's a really stark and, a very provocative comparison, designed to show what he sees as a total lack of perspective. And this is the final punchline to his analogy. Murray basically just dismisses this entire heroic self-image. He says, look, if society ever really faced a crisis that huge, well, the last people we'd want to rely on would be the very celebrities who are casting themselves as our saviors. So after breaking down Douglas Murray's whole argument, it kind of leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? It makes you think from the simplest legal terms to these huge, dramatic, historical analogies. How much does the language we use in these debates really end up shaping everything from what we believe to the laws we actually create?